Alrighty, good evening, everyone. Glad y'all um, were able to join me in the live stream here, going over Tropical Storm Helene that has now formed into the Caribbean. Bless you, pipes. Um, so we do have Tropical Storm Helene has now formed in the Western Atlantic. Going over into the Western Atlantic. Sorry about that. Into the Western Atlantic. So you can see here's the cone of uncertainty right now. We have Tropical Storm Helene now at 45 miles per hour, 45 mile per hour winds. The pressure has dropped down to 1,000 millibars. It was 1,001 the last update. Now it's 1,000 millibars. So it is continuing to drop. You can see by the time we get to 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's supposed to be a hurricane. So Cat 1 hurricane by tomorrow. It may be stronger than that tomorrow morning. Just depends on how rapidly it intensifies over the next few days, over today and then over tonight and then into tomorrow. And then as you can see, by tomorrow night, it's an high-end Cat 1 hurricane, 90 mile per hour hurricane, 115 maximum gust. And then we head toward, this is where things get crucial. Around this time frame here, 7 a.m. On Thursday to 7 p.m. on Thursday, it's going to be crucial for landfall. How far does this thing, where does this thing go? And where does this thing go? Does it follow the National Hurricane Center track? Does it go farther east? Does that trough, I'll show y'all what I mean by the trough. Does that trough pick it up and head toward Tampa, Florida? And Tampa needs to keep an eye on this system as well. Tampa, Florida needs to be an eye on this, because even though you're out of the cone in Tampa, this thing could wobble. Any wobbles with the system is going to depict on what areas get the higher storm surge, which areas get the higher winds, and who gets the heaviest of the rain. This is going to be a very large hurricane, one of the largest hurricanes we've had in recent years in the Atlantic basin of tropical system. So let's get into the satellite. So you can see on satellite picture, this is your visible satellite. See convection on the eastern side of the system here. Your Georgetown, Cayman Islands. You can see a big blow up of thunderstorm development. Your center is right up in here. Not sure if that's the exact center of Helene, but I think there's another center. There is another center right up in here. There's another center somewhere under that convection there and within that area. So, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. The western side is starting to see more thunderstorms develop on the western side. So once the western side gets more thunderstorm development, it could wrap itself around the eastern side, and we will have a close to low. We already have a low pressure, but we will see thunderstorms wrapping around and start to get that intensification process going, that rapidly intensification process going. So yeah, there's the visible satellite. You can see it on the infrared too. The infrared satellite imagery too shows it the same thing too. So this could be a very impactful and one of the worst hurricanes the United States has had this year alone. So we had Debbie in Florida. That was a Cat 1 hurricane. We had Beryl. That was a Cat 5 hurricane, but it was a Cat 1 when it hit the United States and Texas. And then we had Hurricane Francine. That was a Cat 2 hurricane that hit Louisiana. And this could possibly be our first major hurricane of the season here in the United States this year. So if you're really, I would say, let me circle these areas in Florida. So I'm going to take off the cone here. And I'm going to circle the areas that I think needs to be keeping an eye on it. So this area right up in here. Okay, so that pink box there, if you're along from that coast, hold on. Sorry, give me a second, yo. Sorry. Anyways, so that pink box, okay, sorry, that was my mom calling, but that pink box is my area that you need to keep an eye on. Where is this thing gonna go? Where is it gonna make landfall? Because this landfalling systems could depict on who gets the heaviest rain, who gets the major storm surge. I'll show you that in a minute. And then where is this thing gonna go? So it's still out of the gun of where this thing's going to go. We know it's going to go up toward the Big Bend, toward south of Tallahassee and all that areas, but so that's still a big question on where it's going to go, depending on what happens. So now let's go to storm surge. Yeah. Oops. Let's go there. So we'll go to storm surge, the National Hurricane Center website here, and we'll go to the storm surge maps here on Tropical Storm Helene. So first, I want to go with the flash flooding potential. This is going to be a really big key here. Flash flooding is going to be a really big problem. I think it's not going to be as much, but it's going to be a pretty big problem with this system. So this is how far-reaching impact this system is going to be. You have a slight risk there in Missouri, Illinois, northern Arkansas. This is where the main impacts are going to be, right up in this area here. So if you're like in Atlanta, Tallahassee, if you're in Valdosta, Georgia as well, please keep an eye on the system. Heavy rainfall, I'll show you all the potential of the heaviest rainfall totals here in a minute with the models and stuff. But this is day 1, day 2, and day 3 outlooks from the Weather Prediction Center. We'll have to keep an eye on the areas there. Okay, so let's go to the storm surge maps, and you will show y'all what the storm surge warnings. We do have storm surge watches out from the Big Bend of Florida all the way down toward the Keys of Florida. So storm surge watch in effect from south of Tallahassee. I'll say not Panama City yet, but from this area here, from the south of the Big Bend all the way down to the Keys of Florida, including Cape Coral, Tampa, St. Pete. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on this as well. Your peak storm surge. Let's go to the storm surge forecast from this National Hurricane Center. So if you're like Mexico Beach down to Indian Pass, your isolated areas could get 1 to 3 feet of storm surge inundation water. If you're from in between east of Indian Pass to the Okaloosa River, you could see 5 to 10 feet of storm surge. Not everyone in this area is going to see 5 to 10 feet of storm surge, but somewhere, somebody, or some river in between this area, some community will get 5 to 10 feet of storm surge. It doesn't mean you're going to get 5 feet or you're going to get 10 feet. It's just a narrowing area of what the forecast is calling for. And then if you're east all the way down to near the north of Anaclo River, 10 to 15 feet of storm surge is expected or possible. So not everyone in this area here is going to get 10 to 15 feet of storm surge. But if you're in an evacuation zone and you're told to evacuate because of the storm surge inundation problems that are going to be going on with this far-reaching impact hurricane, evacuate. Please evacuate, because I don't want to see you die or get hurt because you didn't evacuate when told so by your local authorities. And then you've got some areas 6 to 10 feet. St. Petersburg and Tampa, 5 to 8 feet of storm surge. If you're middle Longboat Key down to Inglewood, you can see 4 to 7 feet, 3 to 5 feet from Inglewood to Bonita Beach, all the way down to Flamingo, all the way down there toward the Keys. You can see Florida Keys could at least see 1 to 3 feet of storm surge inundation. So this is your storm surge forecast. As of now, this could change, likely to change within the next forecast. We go to We go to the wind speed probabilities of tropical storm force. You can see that far-reaching impact of tropical storm force winds expanding all the way up toward parts of Tennessee there, northern Tennessee there. You can see here, this area here has the best area of storm surge, so 70-80%, 70-80% percentile there. And then this will likely get stronger as it heads toward the peninsula. I mean, not the peninsula, but the Big Bend of Florida up there. Hurricane force winds, you've got at least a 20 to 30 to 40% chance of hurricane force winds up to the Big Bend of Florida, just east of Pensacola, Florida, expanding over there toward Tallahassee, Florida. Potential rainfall forecast from the National Hurricane Center and the Weather Prediction Center. You can see isolated areas could see 6 to 8 inches. South of Tallahassee, there could see 6 to 8 inches. This could likely change, but if you're in Birmingham, Atlanta, Nashville, Montgomery, Charlotte, Augusta, you can see 3 to 5 inches of rainfall likely. And then if you're here, this is where it rains, where tropical moisture could expand. Tropical moisture could expand to the west because of the tropical entity expanding out with the tropical moisture coming in from Helene, but likely to see at least 1 to 2 inches across central and northern Arkansas. Some areas could get 3 to 4 inches there in south central and southern Missouri. So just keep an eye on the system. And then, so your arrival times could see tropical storm force winds as early as in the Keys. That's Wednesday as tomorrow morning. You can see tropical storm force winds as early in Cape Coral in Miami area as of, not Miami, but as of south of Tampa as of 8 p.m. on tomorrow night. And then Thursday 8 a.m. would be on the Big Bend of Florida, Tampa, that area there, and then tropical storm force winds by 8 o'clock on Thursday as it makes landfall after that at 8 p.m. So those are your National Hurricane Center updates there. We'll go to the rainfall totals from the models here. So let's jump into the model data here and show y'all why I think the models are not agreeing. Well, they're better agreement, but they're not, and they have different agreements on where the heaviest rainfall will fall. So as we move on in time, Thursday morning, you can see maybe late Thursday afternoon, you can see the heaviest of the rain here across portions of the Big Bend of Florida. See, it shows Tampa and St. Pete with 1 inch of rainfall there, but as we move along here, this is Saturday. The system has already made landfall. This is GFS model run. So it's the 6C GFS model and showing pretty hefty rainfall amounts across the Big Bend of Florida. This is not where the exact location of the heaviest rainfall. This is an idea of what the exact rainfall totals would be in Florida. Let's go and jump to the Euro model. The European model has a different idea of where the heaviest rainfall will be. So as we go out in time, you see Wednesday, tropical storm force winds coming into the state of Florida. Winds, the outer bands start to coming into the state of Florida as well. And then, so we head over to there. And then we could see isolated areas, could see 10 inches of rainfall up inland as the storm moves inland. And then I say Tallahassee could see 5 to 8 inches of rainfall is my idea of it. And then we can go to the Canadian model, the 0Z Canadian model. You can see by Saturday, the Canadian model goes a little bullish on the rainfall amounts, but I think it has a good general idea. But ignore the 12 inches, the 22 inches. There's no way this storm's going to get 22 inches of rainfall. It could, but there's a possibility there, but there's still a lot of things to consider before the models jump to conclusion of 20 to 30 inches of rainfall. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So also I want to look at the hurricane models. The hurricane models, I know there's been a lot of talk yesterday with the hurricane model showing a Cat 5 hurricane at landfall and a Cat 4. That is a rim of possibility. If this thing can get organized and rapidly intensify, then this thing could undergo rapid intensification process. So this is the H-Wharf model. Has it at 994 at 1 p.m. today. Strong again, tropical storm. But look, as we go to 4 a.m. tomorrow, it has it already a category 2, high end cat 2, high end cat 2, low end cat 3 hurricane, and it's not even across the Caribbean into the Gulf yet by tomorrow morning. And then you can see here by Thursday at 10 a.m. it shows it as a 925. That's a high end cat 4 hurricane and making landfall as a strong cat 5 hurricane at landfall. That is one model. Let's go to another one. Let's go to the H1 model here. The H1 model is a little less amount of winds and rain. So you can see right there. So I know there's a lot of people going to Florida this weekend, but let me show you why. The eastern side, so you see these cells right here. So these cells right here are going to be your tornadic producers. These areas here has the potential to produce tornadoes. I want to go to that tornado potential. As of now, it's not a high tornadic threat, but this I expect this to become a big tornado threat. Not as big as Beryl was when it made landfall in Texas, but pretty substantial tornado threat is what I think. So these little cells that move off to the north and east and the northeast quadrant is where I think the big tornadic potential will be. So we'll keep an eye on that. See, South Carolina could see a big band of heavy rainfall and tornadic potential, and then ongoing from there. So let's go to another model. Let's go to the HAFS-A model. So the HAFS-A model, HAFS-B model have all been crucial to what this thing would be. So this HAFS-A model has tornadic potential into central Florida and eastern Florida as well, because they're in the eastern and northeastern quadrant of the system. And then it makes the landfall somewhere near Stanihatchee, Florida as a Cat 5 hurricane. Not Stanihatchee, in the Big Bend of Florida there. HAFS-B model run has this as a, this one has it as a, let's see, a 909 millibar pressure drop hurricane. That is a strong in Cat 5. That's at least almost 280 miles per hour. So we could see, that's not out of the question, but potential there is really low right now. But if y'all want my forecast of what I think the what landfall might be or what this hurricane category might be, I really think this thing could be a high-end Cat 3, low-end Cat 4 hurricane at landfall. That is my forecast on it. Low-end Cat 3, high-end Cat 4. High-end Cat 3, low-end Cat 4 hurricane at landfall is what I want to forecast right now. It's not going to be potentially, but it's going to be, we're going to get more data as it comes in. So we'll have to keep an eye on things here. Things might get interesting once the system gets well organized and the system is actually developing, which it is right now, but we'll have to keep an eye on things as well. So that is all I got for y'all so far today. I have work later tonight, I have work, so I won't be on later, but I'll try to have an update late tonight as well. Don't know what time that would be, but it may be like 10:30, somewhere around there. But if you're in an evacuation zone here in Florida, if you're in there told to evacuate, please do it. Your life is more important than a building or your house. I want to see y'all live. I want you to see y'all enjoy. I want y'all to be safe. If you're in the path of this hurricane, or which will be a Hurricane Helene, Be safe out there, and I will catch y'all later for another live stream. I will have more updates on the channel, posting updates about Helene too. But y'all be safe, and I will catch y'all later for another live stream. Thank y'all.